Hold up. This is White Gin the Black Onyx. I want to touch on the National Day of Action that's to take place on April the 23rd, 2011. I want to touch on this because a lot of things started coming to mind now. Right, I mean, the plan, it sounds amazing, like straight up, to for us to be, rising up and to be uniting on that day. But like you know, something always comes to mind because this the way I look at it. All this shit that we going through, we got our enemies. We got our enemies, and then this plan that we're finna enact is on the soil of our enemies and shit. It's on enemy's ground. We on his structures, on his his regime and shit. And my idea is that always stay like 5 steps ahead of your enemies and shit, because they're sitting up at the top plotting and planning like it's no tomorrow. And so what I'm meditating on is the fact, like, this call of action is the call for black jobs, black businesses, for liberation, and so we could have our own setup, and by all means, I mean, it's definitely needed within our communities, and it sounds like a great plan and shit. But like I said, though, always stay a step ahead of your enemies. Now this is what I wanted to touch on. Here it go. Let's say we all did decide to unite, and that just, I mean, because to me, this seems like straight up, and I don't want to offend nobody, but I mean, shit, straight up, this seems like another protesting move. Now, judging from, the books of, judging from time and history and shit, and over the course of the years that have been following up to this, protesting hasn't done shit for us. I mean, and this will be protesting on a grand scale, but I mean, still, you got to remember who's at the top. And this is definitely going to foil their plan. If this shit works, it's going to definitely fuck their plans up. So, as we're out there marching, wasting time trying to beg these motherfuckers, that's what bothering me. That's the main thing that bothering me, is that because when you protest, you're basically begging. You're begging for this, you're begging for that, you're begging your enemies to do shit for you, and you gotta think the way that the enemy's thinking. The white elites, what they're thinking. They gotta figure out, cause everything they doing, they make sure they make profit off of it. So they're gonna try to figure out how to make profit off of this movement and shit too, or they're gonna find out, they gotta sit there and strategize and come up with a solution on how they're gonna get around this tactic. And judging from, they say to look at, to know the future, look into the past, and I can see this leading up to some disasters and shit in the future. I could see this shit leading up to something bigger that's gonna go down. With them building those coffins for FEMA and shit. And this action that we're doing may lead up to them actually coming out and coming after our asses and attempting to put us in no coffin. But that's a whole nother thing, because it all adds up. The now adds up to collecting them, creating the future. Our actions predict the future and shit. But that's a whole nother story. But basically, like, okay, we coming out doing the action, we doing the liberation and shit like that, and they're sitting up there, they got a plot and plan, and like I said, stay one step ahead. I mean, I hope this all goes out well. I'm gonna be out there with y'all, but like I said, the protesting you gotta be careful with it, because I don't think protesting ain't gonna get through to these motherfuckers. They want us dead. They don't give a damn about, you could protest to them till you're blue in the damn face. But I'm guaranteeing it, I guarantee they're gonna come up with, they're gonna set something else up to try to counteract this day of, call for liberation and day of, independence and shit like that. I already know they're gonna be sitting up there, thinking, plotting and planning how they're gonna combat against this. Because this is all a war. It's all a war, and there's no getting around it. Like, straight up, you got the gods, and you got the devils, and you got the folks who are asleep. The folks who are asleep. Just like in the Matrix, you got the agents, you got the freedom fighters, and you got those folks who are asleep, who had the potential of being an agent. And that's what we going through now. We got the people sleeping. People are sleeping under the devil's control, and when the guys begin to rise up, when people like me start to rise up, the young generals and the OGs, and we start to stand up and call for action and shit, and then, you got the sleeping people, some of them are our people and shit, like, coming up against us, rising against us, when we're down for them, we're fighting for them, but they're fighting against us for the enemy. So, what I gotta say about those people, just like how they say in the Bible, how they said, heaven against the hell, or God versus the devil or some shit, or, the angels and demons clashing and shit. When that day comes, when the black guys decide to stand up to these motherfuckers and take this shit over, you gonna have to choose. You gonna either sit the fuck down and shit, step the hell back and let us do what we gonna do for the security of the African race across the globe, or you're gonna bow down to your enemy, or succumb to your enemies and shit, or be on their side and get cut down along with them, because we is gonna cut their ass down, straight up. But that's all I want to touch on. Peace, love, and blessing to the movement and everybody who's gonna join into it. But basically, yeah, keep your eyes open, your ears open, and your heart open, and pay attention, cause I already know we done been up under this system for so damn long. You should already have a sense of what the hell is gonna happen. I mean, we dealing with some conniving motherfuckers. I mean, they ain't just gonna turn over on their backs and let us just do what we finna do on that day of action. They're just not, and that's just how it is. So, you're gonna have the intellectuals down there. You're gonna have, people down there. Y'all gonna do what y'all do. Call for your day of liberation. We're gonna be back there. Well, I'm gonna be back there with you. I'm gonna be backing y'all up 110%. But I'm gonna be like the soldiers in the back. We gonna need our soldiers in the back, protecting our people on this day of action. So all the soldiers to stand up and shit too, and prepare to secure and keep a watchful eye of our brothers and sisters. Peace, love, and blessings. And Hotel, this YGen Hotel, and I'm out this bitch. Peace.